Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. My name is Rev Trev, and thank you for coming to Kempner Canucks. I don't know about you, but were you shocked that there was a trade that happened on Thanksgiving Sunday? I was getting ready for our family's Thanksgiving dinner. We were going to some friend's house for a nice meal as a family. And next thing you know, there's this trade that happens, and you're like, say what? And as Canuck fans, we're like, who is Sam Lafferty? And I had made this video, didn't have time to upload it. I literally had my dress shirt on, getting ready to go out, and just didn't have time. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because the reason why I've done a lot more research on Sam Lafferty, how he fits into the Canucks organization and plans for this season, and I feel like I have a much better idea. Now, some of you are absolutely angry. The fan base is so weird right now, and there's a lot of Canucks fans. It doesn't matter what we do. You are so upset about any trade we make. And it's like, and if it involves a draft pick, you want to lose your minds. Now, I understand you probably have some PTSD. Is that how you say it? PTSD? Over, we went and got OEL. We signed Eriksson. We Messier. Even you might even go Messier, right? You're like, there's a lot of bad deals that the Canucks have done over the years. Maybe you even go back to we traded Cam Neely away. Like you've got a lot of trauma. Okay, I get it. But let me explain to you why this is a decent deal for Vancouver. And if you haven't hit that like and subscribe, if you like Canucks content that is passionate, realistic, and honest, click that like and subscribe button. I'd appreciate the support, as well as put a comment in there, do a Rev Trev hat trick, and love to connect with you. Okay, so let's get into this trade, right? So if you're like me, you're just surprised. Like, we are only a couple days away from the season starting. Why do we need to make a deal right now? Why is Sam Lafferty someone we need to add? Because in all honesty, I was very happy, and most of us are very happy on walking into the season with who we got. So next thing you know, we trade for Sam Lafferty, who is a 6'2", 205-pound forward. And then some of you are like, why are we trading for a forward? I've heard the possibilities, like, you shouldn't be trading for a forward right now. We need a defenseman depth. I think we have defenseman depth that we're developing in Hirose, Rolanen, Juleson. I think we have guys, I'm not saying they're the best, but they need to develop, and they're going to get an opportunity with Susie being hurt. And so here's the thing. It's like, so why are we trading for a forward? Why are we adding cap instead of removing cap? And that's just a really good question. The reason why is because he's going to help us now. And the goal is, and they've been very clear about this, that we want to make the playoffs this season. This season. There's a lot riding on this season. I don't know if you've heard this guy named Pettersson, Elias Pettersson. We need to keep him. So we got to make the playoffs this year. So they're all in. They're not rebuilding, they're retooling, and you can get in all that controversy. Just relax, okay? So this is why, because he's big, he's fast, and he can play the penalty kill. If you watch my last video on will the Canucks make the playoffs, the thing is that he, we were the worst in the league in penalty kill. Worst in the league, 71.6%. I mean, Boston had 87.3%, right? The Oilers had, 76% or whatever it was in my video. Check that video out. You'll see all those stats there. Okay. We need to be improved. We need depth. And this guy can play left wing, center, and right wing. Now, Canucks fans are spinning it to make themselves feel better and to sleep at night that we traded for a centerman. Guess what? Studnicka is also listed as a centerman, and he doesn't play center for us. He rarely plays center. He's a winger. If you watch Leaf Land coverage on Lafferty and this trade, they're not talking that he's a centerman. Even though he's a right-handed centerman, we don't have any of those. He probably will end up playing there a couple times, especially on the penalty kill, okay? But he is a winger. In fact, if you watch Steve Dangle, he talked about he can play the left. He's not very good on the left. He's he can play center. He rarely played center, but he played on the right wing. So then it's like, well, why do we pick him over Studnicka? Studnicka had a good training camp. He had a decent preseason. Why didn't we just keep Studnicka? And that's a very good question that I don't know the answer to. Well, I might know the answer to. The reason why is because I think he's the NHL ready guy. I don't think Studnicka is actually a consistent NHL player at this stage of his career. Okay, now Studnicka he's 6'1", I believe. Just go down here real quick. Studnicka is 6'1", 187 pounds. He's only 23 years old, right? Where Lafferty is 28. He's a right-handed player, 6'2", 205 pounds. And this is the kind of guy that you're looking for. So he can play on the third line, he can play on the fourth line, and he can play any one of the forward positions. That is an important piece, and he can play that penalty kill. That is such an important piece. Now, some of you are like, why would the Canucks trade for him? Because there was lots of rumors that Lafferty was going to get dropped onto waivers by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, that's a good thing. Now, we don't know if he was going to get dropped for sure, but they were kind of running out of cap space and room. They had so many players. So why wouldn't they just waited until, instead of giving a fifth round pick, and we're going to get into the fifth round pick in just a second, but why would they do that? Because now most people understand that he got drafted by Pittsburgh and he's a Rutherford guy. And of course, everyone's like, yeah, if he's played on Pittsburgh, they know him, he wants him in. Yes, there's a piece to that. Absolutely. They already know his game. But when he went to Chicago, and that's why they traded the fifth round pick, because they felt that if he got dropped, Chicago would pick him back up. And that is an interesting scenario. Whether it's true or not is a really interesting scenario. So we trade him for a fifth round pick because we want to make sure the 10 teams in front of us don't pick up Lafferty on waivers. Okay, that we make sure we get him. Like that says something how much we believe in this kid, that we want to make sure. Now, some of you are like, why is we getting him now anyways? He's a UFA. This is a rental. Yeah, it's a rental that starts before the season starts. It's not at the trade deadline. We're going to have him for the whole year, and the point is to make the playoffs, right? So we need to add depth. We need to add better penalty kill. Okay, now let's talk about the fifth round pick. Some of you are losing your minds over a fifth round pick. I get it that we've traded way too many picks, but it's fifth round. They almost always never make the NHL. In fact, I think it's like some of the stats I've watched is 12 to 15% play one game in the NHL. One game. Now, there's people out there and they're like, well, what about Kaprizov, who was at the fifth round? Or what about Pavel Bure when we drafted him in the sixth round? It's like, it's not the same thing, guys. Those are totally two different scenarios. The chances of us, like, and this is an entry draft. You guys need to understand that this is not the NFL where you draft someone and they play that next season. They get drafted in so this is 2024, right? They're not all Bedards who play the next season. They usually play, like, our first round pick's not going to play for 2 more years. Our you know what I mean? Like the second round pick, like, when are these guys going to get picked or played? And the chances of them actually producing, panning out, are so slim. And we can get a guy who's been in the league for, I don't know, how many seasons now? 5, 6 years? And who's going to play? He's an NHLer for a fifth round pick that may one day, 4, 5 years from now, play an NHL game? Guys, it's just a no-brainer. So it's very frustrating reading the comments, people losing their minds over a fifth round pick. This is why I think it's decent. Didn't have to give up much for him. He's going to play. Hopefully he adds to the roster. I mean, and if he doesn't, it's not a big deal. We've got other guys can play as well. So it's a win-win for us. There's no real lose here. And it's like, we don't have enough players in the AHL. Our prospect pool is not very good. I get what you're saying. I understand. But at the end of the day, come on, guys. Fifth round pick. Fifth round pick. This guy's not gonna, fifth round picks don't pan out. So I'm excited to see what Lafferty does. I know the big question now is, what number does he have? I have no idea. I know he's not going to take 28. because there's just a storm if anyone ever takes that number, and I understand that's another video for another day. But I hope that you have a happy Thanksgiving. Guys, have a happy Thanksgiving. Instead of being angry, be thankful. Be thankful that the NHL season's around the corner. Be thankful you get to watch the Canucks. Be thankful for your family, for your friends. Let's just be happy today, right? And let's have a great Thanksgiving. And hit that like and subscribe. And of course, always, go Canucks, go!